and apply your information, it's top tier. It's top tier. I love seeing those people take your business models and your products and your services and apply them. And these people are millionaires and billionaires now. So when I saw this opportunity, I said, yes, this is for me. This is 100%
So
for me.
I had to, because the fact that you said this is the first, like I said, for me, this was the whole reason why. You did a stellar job. First interview, nailed it. 2, that's why, because what you just talked about is so innovative. It's a business that I've never heard of. It's something that is fundamentally innovative. It's so solution driven. It's so smart. And I hate that someone like you may be held behind a gate and a gatekeeper, whether that is a price point, whether that, you don't have this amount of followers or whatever that thing is, right? That's the part that I feel like I wanted to do something about it. And like you said, I saw something and I said, why not me? Right?
Yes.
I'm the person that's out here building community.
Yes.
This is what I'm doing. I'm never going to go to nobody else and complain about what they do. I'm going to always be or create the change that I need to see. And so for me, the fact that you said this is the first interview, I am absolutely floored. Thank you. Thank you for confirming my why. Thank you for confirming to me that this was needed. This does matter, right? And that 100%. You actually said, I follow you, I listen to you, and here I am right now with an opportunity to amplify your voice. I'm not gonna wait on nobody else. I'm not gonna charge nobody else with it. I'm gonna get my ass up and I'm gonna do it. And then for you right now, you're helping people that will be listening to this. You literally be helping someone else to say, wait, she really just took her experience, got up and did something about it, got knocked down, saw some setbacks, and she's still moving forward, trying to figure this out. I am so proud of you.
Thank you so much. And honestly, like, I haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg on this journey of my life. I was a foster child. So I experienced the foster care system. And, when you were speaking about compromising on, you're speaking about entries to barriers to entry and whatnot. I've experienced abuse. I've experienced abuse in different settings. We're not compromising on quality here. When I say that I wouldn't charge anyone else with this mission but myself, and apply.
Hey, it's Quincy Selawayne, better known to you as AKAnundrum, and you're here. I'm here. We know why. Another exciting episode of the Drum Circle Show, where I highlight our unsung and lesser known entrepreneurs, so they get to share their journey with you, and you get to also learn from them. So, you know how I do. With no further ado, I'm going to allow my guest to introduce herself and let you know a little bit about her business. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shyaine. I am the owner and operator of Playcare. I am from West Philadelphia, born and raised, and I have been residing in the Charlotte, North Carolina area for about 7-8 years now.
Awesome. Okay. So, it took everything in me not to born and raised on the playground. I had to fight that. I know everybody else who's listening, you had to fight it. So now your business, Philly Playcare, I want to kind of really get into that just a little bit more. It's a daycare, right? Which is one of the most needed, right? Because you know how a lot of us, we like to do the sexy businesses. We like to do what's trendy.
Yes.
I love it when people focus on what is needed, okay? What's going to be around. So now we have that. But of course, with that, there's a lot. We kind of see a few differentiators by gender, age, and everything else. But for you, I want to kind of like drill down just a little bit more into one. I want to know what makes your business, a little different than other daycares, and definitely get into your why, like, why you even chose this route.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so what makes Philly Playcare different from other or similar businesses is, for one, we do not have a brick and mortar location. So Philly Playcare is unique in that we offer pop-up style childcare services for events and occasions. Think your wedding, where you have a lot of family, and some of those family members might be elderly or either very young in age, and you don't want to exclude them from the ceremony itself, but it's probably not the best idea to have them at the ceremony on premises where the wedding is taking place. Philly Playcare would come in and have a separate area set up just for those who might need a little extra attention or care, and provide that care and that peace of mind while the main festivities are happening. And they'll retain their quality. Everyone will have a good time. There won't be children running up and down the aisles. So yes, that's where Philly Playcare is a bit unique, in that we will come to where people are already gathering, where children, being in attendance may be inevitable, and we'll just make sure that your event or your occasion maintains that quality standard, while not excluding any guests for any reason.
That is awesome. Oh my God, that is so, like, most needed. Like, yes. Why hasn't anybody ever thought of this? Like, 9 years apart. So for 16 years, I really, had to focus on, even the 20 years, I had to really focus on daycare. I've never heard of anything like that.
Yes, very, very much so unique. Thank you.
Brilliant.
And what let
how
me
did you come up with that?
Yeah, that was my segue. So like I said, I've been in North Carolina for a number of years now. In my early 20s, I was very active in the grassroots, artsy, coming out of the corporate mindset movement back home in Philadelphia. So at the time, I had a young daughter. She was maybe 3 or 4 at the time. And then the year she turned 5, I, birthed a set of twins. So I'm still in the mix. I've left corporate America, so my life is 100% entrepreneurial. I also have a mobile hair care business. So my mind was kind of already focused on, mobility, getting to people, where they are, servicing people where they are, and kind of removing some of those barriers, because everybody, wants to look good and look great, but not everybody is comfortable going into the hair salon setting. Not everyone can access a great stylist. And if I'm on one side of town and my client is on another side of town and can't get to me, why can't I just, take the extra step and meet her where she is? And, I'm a traveler by heart, so it was always kind of just embedded and instilled in me to, have this wanderlust and just travel and just go wherever I need to be. So while my children are young, experience some hardships, experience some loss, and it dawned on me that, while I'm still, I still have this very huge urge to serve my community and be active in my community. My motherhood comes first. And I ended up missing out on a lot of events and occasions and just planning and organizing because my children needed me more at home, or I couldn't, swing the logistics to be present. So, and I remember being at a meeting down on 12th and Chestnut one time, and one of those, I forget which organization I was meeting with. It may have been organizing for the Justice or Else march that happened. I think it was 2010, 2011. And I remember thinking, what if we just had a nanny come down here? Because it wasn't just me that was, either bringing my children and having to leave the meeting and chase after toddlers and go feed and change and bathroom breaks and whatnot. It wasn't just me. It was other mothers. And I'm just like, what if we just had somebody dedicated to just watch the children so we could really tend to business, get in and get out, even commune afterwards. There was a lot of events where we would break bread before or afterwards because we were in the mindset of building community to even be able to work together on a professional level. So, it was just like, wow, maybe I should be the one to go ahead and offer this as a service. And it took a few years for me to, do the back end, the LLC, establishing my business and whatnot. It took a few years for that to happen, but eventually it was just like, this is what I want to do. I have not stopped thinking about it, have not stopped building on this, even with all the changes that I've made in my life. I'm not even living in Philadelphia anymore, but Philly Playcare is still very much, top of my list for non-negotiables in my life. This business has to and will flourish. And I have, and every day, every week, every month, I'm expanding on the possibilities for this business model, because we know the world is changing so much right now. So many industries are changing, so many policies and procedures and things are changing. And while I see the world becoming kind of sort of falling apart a little bit, I see more ways where communities kind of falling together and becoming more of a priority for people. So I think it's the perfect time for Philly Playcare right now.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of even elaborate in terms of the concept and the innovation of that. Mm-hmm. So mm-hmm. One of the first models that I thought about is one of the things that I preach. I tell people all the time, the greatest industry disruptor, past, present, and future, is convenience.
Yeah.
Convenience can literally birth and destroy entire business models and industries. The more that you make something convenient, the more people actually pay a premium price for convenience. That's how important convenience is. So you have a lot of people who want to partake in services and they can't because they have to negotiate with things like, daycare or childcare or their responsibilities. And what you've done is you've eliminated that, what would have been a barrier to entry for Absolutely. These people. So the first business that comes to mind that we can kind of even reference something like this, to me, the first thing I thought about was IKEA.
Yeah.
IKEA has a childcare center in their shopping center, so that way you can shop. We've seen a lot of movies, theaters actually also incorporate daycare into the movie theater, because how many parents want to go see a movie that may be rated R, but the daycare and the babysitter is always that inconvenience that forbids us from participation. One, I think that's absolutely innovative, right? And then the mobility of it really is where that added need is, because you're going, like you said, I'm going to meet my customer where they are, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that that's absolutely absolutely ingenious. And what I love about it is that by you being mobile, that means that this is the type of business that has remarkable franchise and expansion opportunity. It can scale because you're not tethered to a location. One, that also reduces costs greatly, right? So I think that that's absolutely outstanding. Now, I also want to know, when you have something like this, most people would think like, oh my God, this is innovative. Sis has to be killing it. Like, this is right. We haven't heard of this. And what a lot of people don't know is, I'm going to give right now, just before we segue into your question, a gem dropping moment. So as you guys just heard, you heard her expand on this innovative business, right? And I know you guys are all floored like me, and you're thinking like, oh my God, she has to be killing the game. This is smart, this is innovative, right? Well, what she will be facing, and what you're going to hear me ask her about, is when you do something innovative, you also bear the responsibility of educating the consumer. It's really easy for the consumer to adapt a business that's highly relatable, something that they already know about. But when you have to introduce the consumer to something, you have a chasm that you have to cross for that innovation. And usually in technology, it's what we call the diffusion of innovation. So it's one of those situations where, how do I get these early adapters and the people who are like really interested, and how do I cross that bridge over to the people and the bulk of the users who would use my businesses or services. So you have to pass that chasm. So first, you have to onboard your early adapters, which I call your beta testers, right? You have to onboard your early adapters and your beta testers and your people who are really interested in it, the people who will give you a lot of feedback and help you. Then from there, you have to do a few different methods. One is like you can make it super exclusive to only a few select bunch who will actually do a lot of advertising and marketing for you, right? We've seen it with something like the Red Boots where, you know, it was very limited runs. And so the celebs or the people who could get their hands on it, they were the people posting about it. They're going to be like your marketing machine for you. And if you can pass that through, then it's a lot easier for other people to adapt, which is going to be your early adapters and your late adapters. So anytime you have something new, you must consider, although it's brilliant, although it's smart, you're first to market, which means you will bear the burden of educating your consumer. So that's something that you absolutely have to factor in. So you know how I do. If I dropped a gem, you can drop some coins. So back to the interview. Okay, so like I said, we're all geeks. We're all like, where do I sign up? How do I sign up? So what has been a challenge for you in starting this or expanding this or reaching your client?
I would say both personally and professionally is probably choosing a location. And I can say personally because I kind of still have one foot in Philadelphia and then one foot down here in North Carolina. And I've moved a couple times here in North Carolina. So really just getting a hold on the market that I'm in and dedicating myself to a specific area initially and building on those relationships and marketing my services. Nobody knows that Philly Playcare exists if I'm not sharing what we do, sharing who we are. And that is a huge part of why I even apply for your program and apply for this interview, to help kind of get that, to kind of get our voice out there. And I am actually currently signed up for, it's a science-backed, kind of what we spoke on, similar, like a science-backed business planning model, where they're helping me like really deep dive into the mindset of an entrepreneur and develop this marketing and business plan to help push my business further. So really, you know, the barrier, the challenges has been my own personal mindset as an individual, being clear on what I want, being decisive, has been a challenge of mine. So those are things that I'm actively working through, to push Philly Playcare forward, because it's not just, you know, a business for me. It's not really a business for me at all. It's a business for my community, for the mothers who supported me up until this point and who inspired me to even do what I do.
Wonderful. And so what I hear too, in terms of the marketing, mm-hmm. Here is something that I also want you to consider, and of course, any other viewers who are listening, because you have a dual audience. When you have a dual audience, that is a huge challenge, and it's something that I faced. At one point, I had a booking app, right? And so with my booking app, I had the service providers, and then I also had the people who needed the services. So it was always a challenge of, who do I communicate to first? If I go towards the people who need the service and then they come to my app, but there's no service providers, we have a problem. If I target the service providers and then I onboard them onto my app, but there's no audience for them, then we have a problem. It was a super huge conundrum, for lack of better words, to figure out, right? So I did have to figure out who was the priority, who do I place, and who can I put on pause while I go and attract that other audience. And so what I ultimately realized was, if I can attract the providers and get them to sit and wait, right? Just sit and wait, offering them a free trial period, while I then go and rally up the customers it was a lot easier. So I'm going to take this opportunity for another gem dropping moment. Now, so as you guys heard, she has two audiences. She has B2C, business to consumer, which are the parents and the moms and the dads and the caretakers. But she also has the B2B. Those are going to be the event hosts, right? The planners and the people who are organizing these events. So my advice to her, and if you have a similar business, is go and create partnerships with the event planners. Because one, they're already doing a lot of your heavy lifting. Why? They're booking the events. So if they're having an event and they have 50, 100, 200 of your mompreneurs or your dadpreneurs, those are people that you want to get in front of. They've already done the work to do that. So what would you do? You would create maybe an affiliate program, which has a rev share that you can split some of the revenue, or you could provide your services in beta testing mode for free to say, hey, this is a service I provide. Can you let us come out? We'll perform the service for you. Your clients get to benefit from that, and let us just obtain footage and feedback from those parents that you can then use for marketing. You also want to let them know, like, can you also speak, maybe, you know, let the people know who we are, that we're here. So basically, like, you're sponsoring that event. So that way, one, you get to actually be in practice for what you're doing, which is kind of like beta mode. So you get to actually be performative doing what you're doing. You're going to learn a lot by your business by doing that, right? So you get to get all of that data, you get to get all of that great feedback, but you also get marketing tools. So instead of you telling people what you can do, you're showing them what you do. And there's nothing better in marketing than showing them that. So hopefully that helps you, because I know that is one of the hardest situations to be in when you have that dual audience of B2C and B2B. Always go after B2B. They'll get the C, and then you can actually leverage that audience and then get some more exposure. So again, you know how I do. If I drop that gem on you, you can drop the coins. And don't forget that for the live episode, half of all donations are split with our guests. So if you want to help her out, drop those coins. All right. And now we'll return to the interview. Okay. So how do you think about that? What do you think about that? Does that help a little bit?
100%. And that's actually the stage that I'm in now. It's a prep connect stage and a hit list stage. So I've reached out to local, not so much businesses themselves, but event organizers, event planners, networking event organizers, and have offered between now and November, offering at least five complimentary childcare sessions for those who fall into my demographic.
That is absolutely outstanding. You get it. You know what I mean? Because those people, again, they're needing your services. And honey, let me tell you something. It's nothing better than that, like, free thing. Like, hey, you can come out for free, right? And we'll provide the services. Fantastic. So you also want to make sure that when you do these, a lot of times we enter into these agreements on like a good faith. We don't really enter into them with that solid contract about content. Because one of the things that I just recently posted about that a lot of people are shocked, whoever creates the content owns the content, right? Unless you have that explicitly laid out. So if you're on site and there's a videographer there, they own that content, even the content of you. So when you're on these events, you have to take your own videographer. You have to capture your own footage for use of that, right? Absolutely. Then you also want to sign waivers, of course, with their children. So there's a few contracts that you want to make sure you have. And the promotion, you want to make sure that it is explicitly written that this company is going to mention you. They're going to speak about your business and promote your business. And we have to make sure we get around words like may, Like, I may promote you, believe it or not, that doesn't mean they have to. So those are some things that I would also caution you that you have to be aware of. But I think that's absolutely outstanding. And it's so odd too, because you said location. And we're like, well, she's mobile. What is she talking about? Location, right? But yeah, you're still anchored somewhere so that you can dispatch, right, to a relatively local area in a certain amount radius.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I also think that partnering with people, once you get the systems down, trying to find other babysitters in other states will help you to expand. Go ahead.
Right. I was going to say that, you know, the industry, the climate, the market is different in a place like Philadelphia compared to a place like Charlotte. Especially with me originally being from Philadelphia, my network is way more vast there than here. So expanding into Charlotte and even like South Carolina, Georgia, those are times and places where definitely that those partnerships are paramount to my business model.
Wonderful. So now we've discussed some of these challenges because we all have these challenges, right? But there are sometimes challenges that present themselves as terrifying, but with a little reworking, we're able to create an opportunity for ourselves. We're able to see through that challenge. So are you able to speak to something that kind of felt like maybe an obstacle or was going to be an issue that you were able to switch around?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Even me moving out of Philadelphia in the fall of 2017, I had just LLC Philly Playcare. The previous spring in 2016, I had just LLC my business. I was in a cohort then, and we were planning out, you know, some financials for Philly Playcare. And then the apartment building that I lived in, the owner lost it in a sheriff sale, and I was forced to move. And I was searching for something in my price range at the time and wasn't able to find it. I have a sister here in North Carolina, and she's like, well, you know, the option was on the table for me to move back in once the renovations were done on the building. So my sister said, hey, you know, if you can't find anything, you know, just come down here until the renovations are done. And that's what I ended up having to do. The renovations went from 3 months to 9 months to a year and a half, and I just completely gave up. So in my mind, I'm thinking that this business model was dead. I named it Philly Playcare. I'm no longer living in Philadelphia. You know, that's just the end of it. I'll just have to, you know, find something else that's going to be my wealth vehicle and X, Y, and Z. But then I thought to get in the mindset of what you just said, like the franchise opportunities, the expansion opportunities. It just put me in the mindset that, hey, Philly Playcare, the name is embodying the brotherly and sisterly love that my city is absolutely 100% capable of and exudes, depending on, you know, where you align yourself in the city. But the foundation of Philly Playcare is just really showing the fun, the vitality, the love that we exude for each other and our guests. I have people who share the best experiences of visiting Philadelphia, but maybe living there may be a little bit different. So it's really just a mindset thing. It helped me see where I can encompass the love of my city and, you know, filter it into my business. And we don't have to be bound by just the limits, the city limits of Philadelphia itself. We can definitely expand and be in other places and bring that love and that joy and that fun that Philly is known for to, you know, wherever we end up at, you know, be it Charlotte or Georgia or anywhere else.
Yes, and you're speaking to something that so many of us as entrepreneurs, it's one of the fundamental, and I don't want to say mistakes,
yeah,
but it's one of the behaviors that a lot of us actually do, which is we have a goal. We have an idea and a vision for our business. And because we've not really been taught to dream that big, right? A lot of us are not, it's not that we're scared. A lot of times in doing so, we're being very conservative because, you know, a lot of entrepreneurs, you know, they're thinking, they're trying to create something foundational. So they're not trying to do some fantasy. They're trying to create something stable. So what we do is we're being realistic, right? So that realism creates that conservatism around what we're going to do, what we're able to do. And what we tend to do is we name our businesses very limited in the scope of location, limited in the scope of functionality, products, and services, right? And then as we grow in our businesses and we find out that my job is actually providing solutions, more customers that we hear problems from, we come up with more solutions. And then we're like, wait a minute, my business is no longer just serving this one problem that I thought, or this one location. Right. So one of the things that you just said is, you know, I thought about this, and then having to move forced me to say, wait a minute, how am I be Philly? And I'm up in some whole other state talking about Philly Playcare. Exactly. That gives you, and it forced you to say, I've got to think bigger.
Absolutely.
Right? And one of the things that I'm a big fan of, you guys know me, you follow my businesses, I'm a huge fan of kind of putting the thing in the name. So in other words, the Black Virtual Mom.
Yeah.
That's the name of the business. You know why? Because at the end of the day, regardless of where I go, when I talk to anyone about the Black Virtual Mom, I tell them about the business or whatever, even if it was named something, right? AKAnundrum Shopping Center, they may forget that. But you know what they remember? I remember she said it was like a virtual mall. And when they go search that, I come up on the first page of Google, honey, dominating it because my name is the thing, right? It's the thing. So I think that also, you know, you're mobile in your daycare. That's really that differentiator that sticks out. Like, wait, what do you mean mobile daycare? That sticks out for me, you know? So I'm glad that you now see that that was an obstacle, but it is definitely creating an opportunity because it's forcing you to think bigger. And as soon as you explained the vision, honey, I saw big. I saw nationwide, and some people would say that's limited, global, right? But I saw at least nationwide dispatching. Yes. So with that being said, can you please take a second to let those people know who are listening how they can find you, how they can locate you, and anything else that you may have new going on?
Okay, awesome. So like I said, I'm in the Charlotte area right now. We are expanding. We are offering our services to our target is 5 brands, businesses, locations who would like to offer this complimentary childcare service to their guests. Any upcoming events you guys have between now and November, that is where we are physically. You can find us online. My website is actively under construction right now, but the URL for that website is www.phillyplaycare.com, and that is phillyplaycare.com. And we are on social media under the same name. We are at Facebook and Instagram under Philly Playcare, all one word.
Awesome. So this is a part she don't know about. Y'all know, right? Because most of these people who recorded, they had not seen any of the ones that you guys saw.
Okay.
So I know about this part. So what I'm going to do for you to help you along is, one of the things that I mentioned is I said that you needed a few contracts in tow, right? Yeah. I'm going to provide for you 3 of those contracts.
Okay.
Valued at $350 each for free.
Wow. Thank you.
And these are legally binding contracts that my friend Smith Legal Solutions, your business bestie, will actually look over, and we're going to make sure that you are in compliance in terms of what you need when you go to host your events. Okay, so we want to make sure that you know you have all of the rights to the content and everything else that you need that I can't even think of right now, that Sister Girl will brainstorm it out for you and tell you and what you need, right? And then when you do decide on a new business name, I'm going to extend out to you half off on your own app, sponsored by my company, firstgenerationapps.com. Yes.
I'm literally speechless.
Love this part.
I am speechless. I am speechless. That's definitely a surprise. I'm not good with surprises, but it's a very welcome, very pleasant surprise.
Yes. And that way, when you're ready, because by the time you think that name out, I know you're going to be conjured up a few other things. You will be able to then actually book people nationwide.
That is definitely
able to book through that app.
Yes, okay. Awesome. Wow, yeah. Major. That is major. Thank you.
You're mobile. You need an app. Okay, you need an app. So absolutely. I am so proud of you. I'm telling you, blown away. Service that is absolutely needed, and service that to me is really helping to elevate people, because when we are trying to, educate ourselves, I know for me, going to college, my daughter was in daycare. Thank God for the daycare facility on that campus so I could get my education. You know, it helps us to not be limited. Thank God for the places where you go to work and they actually have a daycare facility there on the premise. So what you're doing is you are absolutely one of the cornerstone people who will be helping a person to elevate to what we all love to brag about, that generational wealth. Well, that's what you're doing. You're saying you have your child, but I'm going to help to create a way or a means where you don't have to negotiate between having your child as a primary concern and also trying to, whether that's networking opportunities, whether that's just a peace of mind, like you said, a wedding or something like that, going out and fellowshipping with people. Sometimes that's business and educational opportunities too. So I am so proud of you. I think that was such a blown away, still blown away. Okay. So thank you. I'm proud of you, and we will be in touch. I'm going to have that coupon. It will never expire for you. So you'll have that discount code, so you don't have to worry about it. And as always, I hope you guys got some knowledge, some jewels, some inspiration. I hope you feel inspired to say, wait a minute, that was a need that I needed. She met it. Okay. So I hope you feel invigorated. I hope you feel inspired. And I cannot wait to see you on the next episode of the Drum Circle Show. Bye-bye.
And apply your information. It's top tier. It's top tier. I love seeing those people take your business models and your products and your services and apply them. And these people are millionaires and billionaires now. So when I saw this opportunity, I said, yes, this is for me. This is 100%
so for me. I had to, because the fact that you said this is the first, like I said, for me, this was the whole reason why. You did a stellar job. First interview, nailed it. 2, that's why, because what you just talked about is so innovative. It's a business that I've never heard of. It's something that is fundamentally innovative. It's so solution driven. It's so smart. And I hate that someone like you may be held behind a gate and a gatekeeper, whether that is a price point, whether that you don't have this amount of followers or whatever that thing is, right? That's the part that I feel like I wanted to do something about it. And like you said, I saw something and I said, why not me? Right? I'm the person that's out here building community. This is what I'm doing. I'm never going to go to nobody else and complain about what they do. I'm going to always be or create the change that I need to see. And so for me, the fact that you said this is the first interview, I am absolutely floored. Thank you. Thank you for confirming my why. Thank you for confirming to me that this was needed. This does matter, right? And that 100%. You actually said, I follow you, I listen to you, and here I am right now with an opportunity to amplify your voice. I'm not going to wait on nobody else. I'm not going to charge nobody else with it. I'm going to get my ass up and I'm going to do it. And then for you right now, you're helping people that will be listening to this. You literally be helping someone else to say, wait, she really just took her experience, got up and did something about it, got knocked down, saw some setbacks, and she's still moving forward, trying to figure this out. I am so proud of you.
Thank you so much. And honestly, like, I haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg on this journey of my life. I was a foster child. So I experienced the foster care system. And, you know, when you were speaking about compromising on, you know, you were speaking about entries to barriers to entry and whatnot. You know, I've experienced abuse. I've experienced abuse in different settings. We're not compromising on quality here. When I say that I wouldn't charge anyone else with this mission, but